Hello, one and all. Welcome along to yet another live stream, yet another episode of Talking Football on pretty dull Wednesday morning. It's not exactly, it's still heated, it's still humid. It's not exactly the bright, shiny sunshine that we've been experiencing these past few days. How are we all doing? How are we all doing, you wonderful people? I'm doing all good. I hope you are too. We're here to talk football, people. We're here to talk football. We are talking Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal. Personal terms are said to be done and dusted as far as what this deal is concerned. The only thing seemingly now missing is an agreement between both Arsenal and Sporting over a fee. We're talking Luis Diaz. Liverpool have said to have rejected approaches from the likes of Barcelona and Bayern Munich in recent days for the Colombian international. And we're talking Harvey Elliott. Liverpool have seemingly set their stall out as a potential sale of the player of the tournament for the England Under-21s European Championships campaign goes by. As always with these kind of live streams, we'll obviously talk about various different topics. I'm sure you guys have got a lot to say on various things as well. We're going to get into all of the topics that I've talked about and whatever you guys want to talk about as well. And with all these kind of videos, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the comment section, get involved in the chat. Would love to hear what you have to say on anything and everything to do with football. As Luca Talks Dons is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Go and subscribe to this man's channel, doing some wonderful stuff over there, talking all things MK Dons. It seems now he is an Arsenal fan as well, but he seems to be focusing, at least for the time being, on all things MK Dons. Hope you are well, my friend. Glad to have you on board with us on this Wednesday morning. Gyokeres rumours, are they actually real? You really think Arsenal will get Gyokeres? You really think we can get Gyokeres? Fabrizio hasn't said. Well, I'll say this. We'll jump straight into it. I don't know whether or not they are genuine or not, but the likes of Sasha Tavaleri, he seemingly broke the news yesterday of personal terms being agreed by Arsenal and the player. Obviously, that doesn't mean that that's completely true. Like I say, some people, just like you say, go off of what David Ornstein says or what Fabrizio Romano says. Everybody else is somewhat hit and miss, so I can sort of understand why people wouldn't necessarily be on board completely with that. But I would say there is a bit of truth to it. Later on in the evening, French publication L'Equipe, I don't know how you really pronounce it. I think it's L'Equipe. I'm going to go with L'Equipe, and obviously I apologize if I am completely butchering the pronunciation of the French publication. But later on that evening, the French publication known as insert bad pronunciation there, went on to state that it's basically edging ever closer. The conversation is very much advanced. It does seem likely that Arsenal are going to sign Viktor Gyokeres. And I think that with this Benjamin Sesko situation seemingly becoming a bit more difficult, I mean, I know that obviously it's been said that personal terms are agreed there as well, but it does seem that RB Leipzig are playing a bit more hardball with Arsenal in terms of trying to agree a fee than maybe what Sporting would. It seems that Sporting have kind of set their stall out a little bit more clearer than what RB Leipzig have. Then it seems as though Arsenal may turn their attention to the Swedish striker, which, as a Liverpool fan, does scare me a little bit more than what Arsenal would be like if they heard, or if they do pursue the Slovenian Darwin Núñez even more. So again, take all these things with a pinch of salt, but this is the kind of news that was buzzing around the world of football late last night. Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal is seemingly more advanced than ever. Personal terms are seemingly agreed. It's, I believe, it's somewhere in the region of a 5-year contract. That is what is rumored to be going off at Arsenal and Gyokeres right now. So we shall see how this one does play out. If we get Gyokeres that's a really good window. I say 8 out of 10. But my question is, bro, keep amazing work. Your channel really class, and also the player wants to come, but it's Arteta. I appreciate the kind words, my friend. I really do appreciate the kind words. Big up yourself, man. Absolutely lovely to always speak to you, my friend. But I agree. I think Gyokeres and Eze are class. The only concern I would have with Eze is his versatility is brilliant. His versatility is brilliant. His Premier League provenness is also brilliant. I 100% get that. My only concern is I don't necessarily think he's the kind of left winger that you necessarily need. I understand he can be versatile and he can play different positions, and he can obviously play more centrally. He can play more on the wing, even on the right wing. He's got this kind of free role that he can play, but I'm not necessarily sure he's the kind of left winger that you necessarily need. But I do agree, like as squad depth goes, as quality goes, as Premier League proven goes, and of course with his creativity, the way that he can chip in with certain goals and stuff, and his work rate overall, I 100% agree that Eze would be a quality signing. And obviously you add Gyokeres onto that, he plugs a hole that has been clearly there for the past 2 to 3 years with Arsenal in terms of a player who can just score goals out of nothing, a player to turn up for the big moments, a player that doesn't necessarily need a hatful of chances like a Kai Havertz, for a prime example, to eventually score one goal. Like, this guy is basically a 1 in 2 kind of striker. Like, you give him 2 chances, he's pretty much guaranteed to score you at least 1 goal out of the 2. So I 100% agree. I think it'll be an amazing transfer window if you manage to get Gyokeres and Eze. And then all of a sudden, the signings of like Norgard and Kepa don't necessarily seem so bad when you consider the overall package of the transfer window is beefing up your squad in terms of depth, and then of course beefing up your squad and reinforcing your squad in terms of the first team. So I 100% agree with you. I think it would be a great transfer window in a transfer window that obviously for a long time, at least in June, was seemingly getting on the nerves and the frustrations of certain Arsenal fans. And you know, you kind of look at it and go, it was June. It was June. Not many teams do business in June, but I guess you were looking around at like Man City and Liverpool doing business and going, why aren't Arsenal waking up to this? And I kind of get it in many aspects and many respects, but sometimes patience, sometimes a bit of patience will eventually set you right in these kinds of situations. And maybe, just maybe, Arsenal are on the verge of their patience paying off. Maybe, just maybe, Viktor Gyokeres, Eberechi Eze, Martin Zubimendi, with all due respects, Kepa, Christian Norgard, maybe all of that will come together to produce a very exciting and intriguing Arsenal setup next season. Who knows? Who knows? It's Arteta. He doesn't want him. It does still seem like Sesko is Arteta's choice, and this is the choice of maybe Andrea Berta. And I've always said this all along. What would be the point of Berta being there if you were going to go with Sesko? That's my. I mean, I'm not saying that Arteta can't have a say. Arteta can't have an opinion, and of course, Arteta is the one managing the team. But at the same time, you brought Berta in for a reason. Berta came in to do these kinds of decisions, to look at the team, to look at the manager, and be like, right, who fits in what kind of players fit in where. I'm going to try and bring in those players that fit this team, fit the criteria that we need, fit the win now sort of mentality and attitude that Arsenal should be having right now. Because 5 years without a trophy, over 20 years without a league title, forever without a Champions League title is ultimately not good enough for this team. And if things don't change in the next year, the downfall of Arsenal could be severe. You look at the likes of William Saliba, already attracting interest from Real Madrid. Could there be something in the works there? You look at the players like Bukayo Saka, Gabriel, Declan Rice. Are they going to be happy with another trophyless year at Arsenal if things do get that far? No, of course not. So it has to be a win-now attitude, and Gyokeres has that win-now attitude. Sesko, project player, years later on down the line. And if you were on the way up, you could maybe take the risk on that. But obviously, Gyokeres, different story, in my opinion. But like I say, Arteta, I think he needs to step aside on this one. Like, if I'm to be fair and objective, he needs to step aside on this one and concede the battle. Arsenal should go for Gyokeres. As a Liverpool fan, I hope and pray that they go for Sesko instead. But obviously, I'm not there. I'm not making the decisions. The player wants to come, but it is Arteta who wants Sesko. Like I say, mate, you're gonna have to just sit and watch this one play out. It's going to be very intriguing. If this is the thing with now though, if Sesko does go to Arsenal, that is either going to be a stroke of genius from Arteta, or it is going to be the Newsom rope that he hangs himself with. That's going to be the very tipping point of Arteta's managerial career at Arsenal, at least. Like, either Sesko works out and it's like, you know what, this guy knows what he's on about, or if Sesko does come, he doesn't know what he's on about at all, and they should get rid of him. Which is interesting to see how it goes. As they will get you 12 to 15 goals. Absolutely. Not bad from set pieces either, which again is another big part of Arteta's style. Morning, Marco. How you doing, bro? Hope you are well. So no Sesko for Arsenal. Doesn't seem like it right now. It does seem like Gyokeres has somewhat overtaken Sesko if there is to be some sort of race between these two. Does anyone... Here's a question for everybody that's in the building right now. Does anybody think that maybe Arsenal could get both Sesko and Gyokeres? Is there a world in which maybe Arsenal could get both? Does anyone see that potentially happening? I don't know. Like, I think it's very unlikely that will happen. I think it's very unlikely that Arsenal will pursue both. I think it is a case of it's going to be one or the other. But I'm just going to throw it out there. Could there potentially be a world in which Arsenal sign both Gyokeres and Sesko this summer? I don't know why they would. I don't know if that would happen. I don't know what would happen to Kai Havertz in that situation. maybe there's a positional change for Havertz. Maybe he still remains as just a rotational option or whatever the case may be. But I'm just curious to know, does anyone actually think that both Sesko and Gyokeres could actually go to Arsenal at the same time, be at the same place, and move in the same transfer window? I'm just throwing it out there to everybody that's in the building right now. Joe versus Jude in the Club World Cup. Yep, definitely heating up, isn't it? Definitely heating up that Club World Cup. Like some interesting narratives, interesting stories. But yeah, it is what it is. Point is, Mikel being controlling, it is being a controlling window. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like he's got a lot of power at the club, maybe too much power to say he's just meant to be a head coach and a manager of the team, technically. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, my friend. I do. It's not what he was brought in for. It's not what he was brought in for. When do you think Arsenal will win the league in their lives? I'm hoping, in comparison to Liverpool, never. I don't know. If because right now, even with Gyokeres, like it does change. If Gyokeres was to go to Liverpool, it changes things. Sorry, if Gyokeres does go to Arsenal, it changes things in that Arsenal do get closer to Liverpool. However, Liverpool have also moved to a point where the signings of Gyokeres, Frimpong, Wirtz especially, have kind of moved them along as well. And I do feel like if Liverpool respond to this by going and getting Isak, we should be winning the league next season. No question in my mind. The only way that I would concede losing the league is if, I don't know, Man City put up an even more phenomenal season than us and we miss out on like goal difference, or we miss out on like maybe a single point or something along them lines. But then we'd have to go and win the Champions League to make up for it. Arsenal winning the league, if they sign Gyokeres, it could happen next season. If they go down the Sesko route, I don't think it will happen. And then you're looking at the next manager, and then you're going into the complete unknown, my friend. It's going to be difficult because, again, wrong era for Arsenal, being in this City Liverpool sort of era. It's just difficult. Guys, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And, of course, get involved in the chat. We are talking Arsenal's pursuit of Viktor Gyokeres, and we've got some Liverpool stuff coming up in the pipeline as well. We're talking Luis Diaz. We're talking Harvey Elliott. Maybe a little bit of Alexander Isak if we have time as well. We shall see. Arsenal need Gyokeres. I 100% agree with you. I've been saying this since the beginning of the transfer window. Arsenal do need Viktor Gyokeres over Benjamin Sesko because Gyokeres is a here and now player. It's as simple as that. Sesko is not good. Yeah, that's why I call him the Slovenian Darwin Núñez. That's why I call him the Slovenian Darwin Núñez. 100% agree, Luca. 100% agree. What happens? Liverpool rumours with Gyokeres. I can see Gyokeres going United. So the Liverpool rumours, I did talk about this last week. The Gyokeres rumours to Liverpool, I said were, I believe, plants by Sporting Lisbon to sort of force things to move a bit quicker between maybe Arsenal and United, or Arsenal and whoever else were interested. Because the story is that Sporting had a transfer fee in mind, didn't they, as to how much they wanted to sell Gyokeres for, which was said to be higher than the so-called gentleman's agreement between Gyokeres and the previous sporting director. I think the Liverpool rumours, as much as I think there may be truth in the rumours of Liverpool having interest in Gyokeres, was purely based upon Sporting dropping them rumours in to try and maybe speed things along with Arsenal, to maybe try and spark a bidding war between maybe Arsenal and whoever. I don't know for sure. I don't know, but like I say, things have seemingly cooled off over the past week or two since those Liverpool and Gyokeres rumours came out. I kind of think I may have had a bit of forethought there in terms of Liverpool were not exactly completely invested in signing Gyokeres, but it was there as a ploy by Sporting to maybe try and spark the asking price up a little bit of that. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to note. It's interesting to see. Could Liverpool maybe come back in for him? It's not out of the realms of possibility, but they would need to move quick. Arsenal need to move quick. Everybody needs to move quick on this one because, you know, things can really change in the blink of an eye in football. So we'll see how things go. As far as what United are concerned, obviously the only way that they're in this situation is simply down to the fact that they have the Ruben Amorim link. That seems to be the only thing that is keeping them in the conversation, is the previous relationship between Gyokeres and Amorim. I don't necessarily think he will go there anymore. I think Gyokeres is ready for the here and now. I think that's why he's holding out for Arsenal. But if another here and now team, like a Liverpool, for example, was to swoop in for him, I reckon he could have his head turned. And especially when you consider that he's going to be looking at that Liverpool side and going, if I go there, I've got Salah, I've got Wirtz, I've got McAllister, I've got Frimpong, I've got Gyokeres, I've got Diaz, I've got Gakpo, that are all going to feed me. All of that creativity, all of that work rate, all of that skill, flair, talent, ability, quality is going to feed me. I am going to feast on the Premier League. I'm going to absolutely feast on the Premier League when I've got that amount of creativity behind me. More on Arteta's fault. Why can't we have Berta controlling the window? In the window, Arteta being controlling it throughout the window. If Arsenal got both, means we would have to sell Havertz or Jesus. Wouldn't be the worst thing for you to sell either. I don't think. Maybe more Jesus than Havertz. Maybe there is a bit of a role for Havertz to have, but I do kind of believe that if you are buying Benjamin Sesko, he is sort of a slightly better Kai Havertz with all due respect. So maybe not the worst thing, but again, there is a bit more at least to Havertz's game, that he can actually be a bit more versatile. You can put him out on the wings. You can put him in the number 10 position. It may not exactly play brilliantly in those positions. He may not exactly set the world alight in those positions, but at least for like the odd game or two, he can play in those types of positions. So I get where you're coming from. Berta does need to start controlling the window. It's what he was brought in for. The way that obviously Arteta seemingly has more power is very strange to me. It doesn't happen that way in football anymore. You're a head coach. You're meant to coach the team. You can have a say, but overall, the main power does belong to the club, does belong to sporting director. But it does seem very strange that Arteta's the one that seemingly has the final say on transfers and things of that nature. So, yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. If Arsenal did sign both, 4-4-2 returns. I mean, it could happen, or some sort of 4-2-2-2 or something, which would be like 4-4-2, but slightly more advanced for the wingers, which would work to the benefit of Bukayo Saka and whoever you play on the left wing next season. Plus, that means you drop Odegaard, which I don't think is exactly the worst decision in the world. Where do you see Gyokeres going? I think Man United, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. I want Gyokeres. Yeah, I want Gyokeres too, mate. I want Gyokeres too. If we can't get Isak, then I would want Gyokeres and take him all day long. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a tug of war between Berta and Arteta as to who you get. Like I said, I could see a possible world in which you get both, but I do think one will out the other. I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like he has his heart currently set on Arsenal. Arsenal are currently debating which one to go with. They've got Gyokeres on the right hand. They've got Sesko on the left hand, and they're just constantly going like that between them. They don't know which way to go. As much as I hate to say it, with how this story's been snowballing in recent days and weeks, I think you may end up with Gyokeres. I just think that the way that this story's been snowballing, I just think you may end up with Gyokeres. And I will admit, and I've said this all along, that Arsenal with Gyokeres scares me a lot more than Arsenal with Sesko. So I hope you get Sesko. Fingers crossed you do. I hope and pray that you get Sesko and Sesko goes elsewhere, or even more, hopefully, to Liverpool. But I don't know. The more that these stories drag out, the more that the links cool on Sesko, whilst the story on Gyokeres kind of snowballs and gathers a bit more momentum. I kind of think maybe the momentum is shifting. Saeed made a video about Fabian Ruiz coming to Man United. Man United has lost all its pull. It's so unrealistic. I wouldn't say they've lost all their pull so far, but the longer that United continue in this rut, they will continue to lose pull 100%. I don't understand why Fabian Ruiz, though, would go to a Manchester United. It makes no sense. He is in one of the most well-oiled machines in world football right now. He is a Champions League winner. He is part of probably the best midfield in world football. I don't understand why he would go to Man United, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Let's put it that way. I think we get Sesko. I hope you do, mate. I hope you do. From a Liverpool fan, I really hope you do. I hope we do get Gyokeres. I'll go crazy celebrating. I can understand why, and you have every right to. You have every right to celebrate that, because that is going to be a monumental, massive, groundbreaking, earth-shattering signing. Like Man City's rebuild, Liverpool signing Wirtz on top of other players that obviously reinforce that squad, and then Arsenal have just been sat there, like I say, debating, having a 50-50 with two players that, you know, one's a project player that could come good, but I see as a bit overrated, and a lot of other people do see as a bit overrated as well. And then on the other hand, you have Viktor Gyokeres, who's been scoring goals for fun over the past few years in Europe, whether it be at a domestic level in Liga Portugal or whether it be in a Champions League level. Viktor Gyokeres is the guy. But for one reason or another, Arteta is leaning more towards Sesko. We shall see. We shall see. I can see us getting Sesko. I can picture it. Yeah, I mean, I can see this going both ways as well. I can see this you getting Sesko and Arteta winning, or I could see you getting Gyokeres and Berta winning. And I think that it's going to be very intriguing to see who wins. It should be Berta for a number of reasons, not just on the player side of things that Gyokeres is better than Sesko, but it should be Berta that wins in terms of that's what he was brought in to do, be the sporting director. I think it's like part of the reason why Edu left as well, I believe. I'm not obviously an Arsenal fan, so I don't know the full story, but I believe the reason why Edu left was because part of the reason was because Arteta maybe had more power over him, despite him being in that position of power in the first place. I could just be talking absolute nonsense there, by the way. I'm not 100% clear, but that's kind of the kind of vibe I was getting. But yeah, I can see it. I can see you getting Sesko, but on the other hand, I can also see you getting Gyokeres, as much as it pains me to say. Mike Odegaard put a word in Scandinavian Paul. With the way that Odegaard's been playing over the past year, don't think that would be a wise choice, to be honest. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's we shall see anyway. We shall see. Like I say, the stories that came out last night seemingly suggested that Arsenal are advancing on this situation, on this saga. Personal terms agreed. 5-year deal is on the table. But nothing set in stone as of right now. Nothing set in stone as of right this second. Guys, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and be greatly appreciated. And join us in the chats. Would love to hear what you have to say on this Arsenal, Viktor Gyokeres and Benjamin Sesko stuff. Who do you see Arsenal signing in this transfer window? Will it be one? Will it be the other? Or will it in fact be both? Could we actually be living in a world in which Arsenal sign both Odegaard, sign both Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyokeres? I am very intrigued to find out from you guys what you have to say on this particular story. Lucas says that they will sign Sesko. I hope you do. I hope you do. I really do hope you do. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the kind words, my friend. Always lovely to talk to you as well. Lovely to have you along with us for this live stream. Just gonna quickly have a look, see if there's any more on this Gyokeres stuff, because I imagine that this saga is gonna drag on for a little bit longer. Where are we at? Don't know how credible that is. Does seem a bit 50-50, doesn't it? One day it's Gyokeres that's in pole position to sign for Arsenal. The next day it's Sesko. The next day it's Gyokeres. The next day it's Sesko. It's good. Good. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. Maybe do collab on your channel sometime if you want to. Yeah, I would love that. I'd love that. I don't know. Maybe if something. I mean, I don't know if I have you on any sort of social media platform, but I can definitely get in touch with you somehow. And yeah, I'd love to do that, my friend. Like maybe if something big does break on Arsenal, maybe if you eventually work out which striker you want to pursue going forward, we can definitely set something up like that. Would really love to do something with you, my friend. So yeah, definitely somewhere later on down the line we can definitely sort something out. Would love to do so. Yeah, Arsenal, Gyokeres, Sesko, talk to me, people. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about this story down below in or to the side in the comments. Would be great to hear from you all on that. Like I say, I really hope you do get Sesko. Really hope you get Sesko. Like, I don't rate Sesko. I've said this on a number of streams. I just don't rate Sesko. Gyokeres, I rate highly. And I'm very surprised that there aren't more clubs going in for him. Very surprised that it's seemingly just been left for Arsenal to do. And even then, their closest competition seemingly is a Manchester United side who, had they won the Europa League, I would probably say have more of a chance. But they didn't. They spectacularly lost to Tottenham. They finished 15th. And the only pull they have is seemingly Ruben Amorim right now in this sort of situation. So I'm a little bit surprised that there aren't more clubs that are interested in taking Gyokeres off their hands, especially when you consider the money he's going for as well. Like, it's said to be somewhere in the region of 100 million euros. Considering the other strikers that are on the market right now, considering like players that are going for that amount of money are like big gambles and are like players that are project players that may not exactly be here for the here and now, but maybe in a year or two's down the line. It just seems like a no-brainer to me. It just seems like a no-brainer. Has Darwin Núñez messed up the striker market, especially in Liga Portugal, that much over the past few years that teams are now scared of doing this? I'm just I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore on this. It's you've got a striker there that is banging in goals for fun at both a domestic level and a Champions League level. He's going for roughly around about 100 million euros, which works out at probably somewhere in the region of 80 million pounds or something like that. And yet, teams are sat there, umming and ahhing, going, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this player's better. Maybe that player's better. We need someone for the here and now, but I don't know. I'm confused. I'm very much confused by the situation. At least with Viktor Osimhen, I can somewhat understand why certain clubs are not necessarily going near that, because there is said to be a big financial money aspect that is tied to Osimhen. At least I can somewhat understand where certain teams stand on Osimhen. But for Gyokeres, I don't get it. I don't get it. He's proof. He's proof that he scores goals. Scores goals for fun. A here and now player. A player that is in his prime, scoring goals for fun. it just makes sense to me. It just makes sense to me to just go and get him. And yet, teams are sat there sitting on their hands. And I'm concerned as to why. Is there something we're missing on this situation? Is there something that we're overlooking on Viktor Gyokeres? I don't know. I'm just looking at all possible angles here. I'm just looking at all possible angles here as to why there are a number of clubs that are seemingly not pursuing this potential deal as much and as hard as probably what they should be. It's just interesting to think about. It's just interesting to think about. Anyway, guys, like I say, get involved in the chat. Don't know why my alarm's going off. My bad. Get involved in the chat. Get involved with hitting the like button and subscribing if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, like I say, I hope you are enjoying yourselves here. We're going to be moving on from the Gyokeres stuff for now, at least, until something else breaks. We're talking this. Liverpool reject Luis Diaz approach. News broke this morning from Sky Sports that Liverpool have rejected an approach from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz. This has been followed up by on a few top journalists, the likes of Ben Jacobs, the likes of Paul Joyce as well, have followed this up, confirming this news. Paul Joyce states on X that Liverpool have rejected an approach from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz. Max Eberl, Bayern's director of sport, hope I'm pronouncing that name right, by the way, I do apologize if not, made contact but was told Diaz not for sale. Liverpool stance same as when Barcelona made an approach last month. I'm torn in two about this Luis Diaz stuff now. With the way that our transfer window has gone, I'm not completely opposed to keeping him as what I once was. With us obviously getting in Gyokeres, with us obviously getting in Wirtz and Frimpong and strengthening in areas that we needed to. I'm not completely against selling or getting rid of Luis Diaz as what I once was. And I'm quite happy for him to stay for at least one more year. We fill that position. We get rotation in for Cody Gakpo. Those two battle it out for the left wing position. And then in a year's time, we could then assess that situation and go, you know what, with 2 more years left on your contract, one more year left on your contract, we can get rid of Diaz and then we can bring in someone else. I'm more than okay with that. However, I do believe on some level he is past his use-by date. I do believe on some level he is one of the most frustrating players that I've ever seen. Like, when he first arrived at Liverpool, he was so good. The ball stuck to him like a magnet. His technical ability was on show. He ran at defenders. He showed no fear in his performances. He was absolutely electric to watch at times. And then he had his injuries, and you could tell that they hindered him. They hindered his development. They hindered him as a player. They hindered his attributes. They just purely hindered him. And it was so unfortunate that we get a Luis Diaz now that doesn't take his man on as much as he should anymore, holds on to the ball for too long. His decision-making is not the best at times, and it's often the most frustrating of times in which his decision making lets him down. He's just not that same player anymore. However, he is versatile. You can play him on the right, you can play him on the left, you can play him through the middle. He is a player that has proven he can do it to some level in the Premier League. Not maybe to the exceptionally high standards that maybe Liverpool set, but still to a decent enough level. But in saying all of that, he still frustrates the living hell out of me, and I would like to get rid. I would, in an ideal world, if you could tell me like we could sign Anthony Gordon tomorrow by getting rid of Luis Diaz, I'd snap your hand off. But the left wing market is not exactly teeming and oozing with talent and quality for the here and now that we need. Like, I like Antoine Semenyo. I like Anthony Gordon, but they're probably going to be tough deals to get done. So what do? You keep what you have and you assess the situation in a year's time. Now, if I'm right in remembering, Luis Diaz does actually have 2 years left on his current contract, I believe. Just checking this. Yeah, his contract does expire in 2027, so 2 years. So basically, we can already assume the media is lining up another, well, so-and-so's got another, is down to the final year of his contract, again at Liverpool. Because, you know, they're doing it right now with Konate, and in a year's time, they can do it again with Diaz. In an ideal world, we get someone better. But with the current situation the team is in right now, Liverpool need defenders. Liverpool need to sort the striker situation out. The left wing position is not exactly a priority. If we do get a striker, if we do bring in Guehi, then maybe things might turn. Maybe if Barcelona step up their approach, and maybe if Diaz then decides, you know what, I do want to go and play for Barcelona. I do want to go and play in Spain. Or maybe if Bayern step up their approach and he goes, you know what, I do want to go to Bayern. I do want to go and play for the best team in Germany. Then maybe things change. As I've always said, with these kind of situations, it's more down to the player than the club. I said the same thing with the Alexander Isak situation. That situation will not die down, and it's mainly because Liverpool are interested, but they know that in order for things to move in the way that they want, they will need Isak to have a bit of a change of heart. And that is going to be the same thing for this situation. Liverpool have no intention of selling, but that doesn't mean they won't. Because if Diaz turns around to them and goes, you know what, I do want to play in another league. I do want to move on with my career. I do want to try something different. Liverpool will then have to make a decision. Do they keep him and risk him being unhappy? Or do they cash on him now whilst they have the opportunity to do so, rather than potentially have his price cut next year when he enters the final 12 months of his contract, or keep him until he runs out of his contract and they lose him on a free transfer? There's a few things there that are obviously going up in the air. A follow-on story that is intriguing to this, though, away from Diaz, is that, of course, part of the story there is that Bayern Munich were rejected by Liverpool. Barcelona were also rejected by Liverpool. The Barcelona Nico Williams stuff has seemingly hit a bit of a stagnation there. Bayern could turn their attention to Marcus Rashford. That is a story which admittedly has seemingly come out of the Sun Sport, so of course take it with a pinch of salt. But the transfer hub sort of thing that I follow that kind of brings all of these stories together has seemingly suggested that Bayern Munich could turn their attention to Marcus Rashford going forward. Now, of course, it does make sense. Of course, it is a story of convenience because Bayern are looking for a left winger. Marcus Rashford's a left winger. It fits the bill. It ticks all the boxes. All the specification is there. We know that obviously Man United are looking to sell Rashford. Yesterday, the reports coming out were suggesting that he is prioritizing a move abroad rather than a move to a fellow English/Premier League team. It ticks all them boxes. Is it a story of convenience or is there genuine weight behind it? I don't know. Obviously, Vincent Kompany probably remembers him well. It's going to be interesting to see this whole Rashford situation play out. It's going to be interesting to see the left winger situation play out across the board of European teams as Barcelona look to secure a left winger. Bayern are seemingly looking for a left winger right now. It's going to be very intriguing to see how all of these stories play out together. Marco says Trent played good against Juve. I watched the entire game. He provided the assist too. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be the first of many for him. Good luck. We'll see how it goes. Nasir, hope you are well, my friend. Thank you for joining us. He simply says, great job, mate. Keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. Really do appreciate the kind words. Hope you are well, my brother or sister or whoever. Love it. Let's have a look here. It's actually a point. It's actually a good point. Let's go to a story that broke yesterday, shall we? Sticking with Liverpool. Mark Gahey, according to a certain Dave O.C. Kopp, Liverpool and Mark Gahey have reached an agreement on personal terms ahead of a proposed move to Liverpool. Now, fingers crossed, this is it. Fingers crossed, this is where things accelerate to the point where we now meet the demands of Palace, or we come to some sort of negotiated, agreed price tag. And fingers crossed, Mark Gahey arrives at Liverpool very, very soon. Fingers crossed that is the case, because I can't speak highly enough of this transfer. I really, really can't. This is a smart transfer. It makes all the sense in the world for a number and a variety of different reasons. Mark Gahey to Liverpool would be perfect. Absolutely perfect, in my opinion. I think this move has escalated a little bit in recent days because it does seem like Palace have found a replacement in Ousmane Diomande of Sporting Lisbon. And it does seem that that move, I don't know if that move has been confirmed yet. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but it does seem like it is going to happen. Still at Sport, not confirmed yet, but it does seem like Palace are nearing the completion of a €55 million transfer fee for the 21-year-old. So it does seem like Ousmane Diomande is going to be going to Palace, which is a massive move in itself for Crystal Palace. I think that is a quality move for a player who is a little rough around the edges, it seems, but you would expect that from a 21-year-old, but is someone that can definitely grow, get better, more experience in the game. And I think the physical element of him will actually suit the Premier League down to a T. So I actually quite like that move from Crystal Palace. I think that could be a very intriguing transfer for Oliver Glasner's side. But obviously, the revolving door of transfers means that it's one in and seemingly one out. And obviously, we've been covering this Guéhi situation. It does seem like Liverpool are the front runners. Liverpool are in pole position. And it does seem likely that if a move is to materialise, it will be to the Merseyside club going forward into the summer. Like I said, I really like this. I really, really like this move. I can't speak highly enough of it. It just makes there are so many things about this move that just makes so much sense. Marc Guéhi has been so consistent, so strong in recent years. He's been an absolute leader, an absolute warrior for Crystal Palace. He has grown as a man and as a player. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's good in the air. He's got good leadership presence. He's got good awareness. He's reading the game. He's getting better and better every time I see him. This just makes perfect sense. It really, really does. And I cannot speak highly enough of Marc Guéhi to Liverpool. I really, really can't. And if the news from, like I say, Dave O.C. Kopp yesterday is anything to go by, it does seem that we are nearing ever closer to this move materializing and Marc Guéhi potentially following the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Mamardashvili in as a Liverpool player this summer. It's exciting. It's exciting times, and I'm really looking forward to potentially this materializing. I really hope it does. It really bolster our defense and really reinforce it. And like I say, for a guy who's 24 years of age, it makes perfect sense. It just makes perfect sense. So fingers crossed, this happens. All this happens. I'm moving on to the final story today that I want to discuss with you all. Like I say, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the chat as well. Would love to hear from you all. This story right here. Harvey Elliott, the player of the tournament for the Under-21 European Championships. Harvey Elliott could be on his way out of Liverpool this summer. According to David Ornstein yesterday, Liverpool set Harvey Elliott asking price as interest builds in Under-21 Euro player of the tournament. Liverpool want 40 million plus with buyback option, or 50 million without the buyback option. 22-year-old forward eyeing regular football at elite, potentially Champions League level, so may look to go abroad. I've said this about Harvey Elliott. I really like him. I really like him as a player. I just think the only problem that's letting him down in this Liverpool team is that he may not have the right kind of build. He may not have the right kind of right build. He may not be physical enough for what Arne Slot is looking for. He struggles as well because he's not really a winger because he doesn't really have the pace for it. But as a midfielder in this Liverpool team, he may not just, like I say, have the physical build to obviously muscle his way into Arne Slot's plans. I really, really do like him. I feel like he gives us something that not many players have in this Liverpool team. I feel like he gives us a bit of creativity, a bit of confidence in his ability. He has got wonderful vision. He can pop up with a goal or two here and there. His movement is sometimes really good. I really do like him as a player. The only problem is that for Liverpool, like I say, I think there are certain attributes that he's not exactly got to playing to his strengths, like his physicality and like his speed. I feel like for him, he's not going to get the regular first team football he desires, because on the right wing, you have Mo Salah. In the middle of the pitch, you've got McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones that are probably either ahead or on par with him. You then have to consider Florian Wirtz, as also came in this summer, and he's not exactly going to play second fiddle, having came in for a monumental and massive price tag. So there is a lot there for Harvey Elliott to consider. I did feel like he was going to be gone this summer. I don't know where, but I have no doubt in my mind that wherever he does go, he is going to kill it. He's going to absolutely kill it wherever he goes. I have no doubt about that. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I feel like a lot of teams should be interested in him. I feel like no matter what team comes in for him, especially if it's like I say, upper echelon of European and maybe even Champions League football, he is going to be a worthwhile asset for them. He's going to be a wonderful addition to whichever squad that he goes into. Harvey Elliott, in my opinion, will absolutely kill it. I did say roughly 40 to 55 million, I think will be enough for Liverpool to maybe at least consider selling. That is seemingly what David Ornstein has put there. And I feel like we can get that money. And especially with how he's performed in the European Championships as well, I feel like that may have also helped Liverpool out in terms of maybe trying to hit a sale. But there should be a lot of teams in for him. There should be a lot of teams in for him. Some maybe put off a little bit by the price tag, but I can see him just being a wonderful, wonderful asset. He's a player who shows no fear. He's a player that always wants the ball, no matter what. I mean, the game that I always go back to in displaying that kind of attribute about him is the Carabao Cup final. Liverpool were dreadful in that final, and then he comes on, and instantly the game changes. The game changes in Liverpool's favour because he is popping up here, there, and everywhere, and he's demanding the ball. He's not shying away. He's not cowardly hiding behind more experienced players in the team. He is going, give me the ball, and I will do something with it. And I think he hit the post in that final, if I remember correctly. And of course, he set up the goal for Federico Chiesa. He is a brilliant, brilliant player. I really do like him. I can't speak highly enough of him. I really wish it would have worked out at Liverpool. I really, really do. But ultimately, it unfortunately hasn't. It's a shame. It's a real shame. But these things sometimes happen. we move on. And I think it will be best for everybody involved if we were to go our separate ways. Whoever signs him gets one hell of a very good player. Liverpool get a pretty nice fee for him. It's going to be a very nice fee for 40, 50 million. It will definitely be a profit on how much we signed him for. And for Harvey Elliott himself, he goes on to pastures new. He moves on to a team that will hopefully give him more first team opportunities to obviously better his career and obviously improve his career and all of that stuff. And obviously to, boost his chances of getting into the England national team at a senior level. Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner in a certain way in this. If, of course, Harvey Elliott can find a suitor that is going to want to take him on at their club. And like I say, I think there should be no shortage of suitors and options available to Harvey Elliott this summer. But we shall wait and see how this all plays out. We're going to call it there, guys. We're going to call it there. Thank you to every single one of you who joined in with the stream early this morning. Thank you to everybody who joined in, tuned in to listen to me ramble, to get involved in the chat, to hit the like button and subscribe. All of that good stuff is very much appreciated. So keep continuing to do so, people. Keep hitting the like button. Keep subscribing if you are new. And keep getting involved in either the chat or the comments section, whether it's about any of the stories that we talked about, any of the stories that you want to talk about for future videos and future live streams to come. I'm sure what you have to say might be great interest in reading. So please do all of those things. It really does mean the world to me. Your support is absolutely amazing. I can't thank you enough for everything and anything that you do on this channel. It really does mean a whole lot to me. So I cannot thank you enough. Thank you. Always be appreciated, never taken for granted. You guys are absolutely amazing. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. See and speak with you all again soon.